So in today's crypto analysis, just as usual, I'll be talking about Bitcoin's price action over the last week. There has been some interesting events and I'm gonna be talking about them with more detail because they could be related with market manipulation. I'm also gonna be talking about Bitcoin shorts, and the reason is because whenever you see that a lot of people are doing something, it's good to be a contrarian and actually do the opposite. Finally, I'll end the video by talking about two specific altcoins. The first one is Ripple, which we saw it had a massive surge over last week, and I'm gonna go through the technical analysis, and also I'm gonna mention what I actually did when I saw this happening. I'm also gonna be talking about Ethereum, and the reason is because it has been going down in the last month, but actually now it seems that it might be ready to actually go up. So if you're curious about this, just chill and keep watching. Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, and this is your host, the Chicken Entrepreneur. So this is actually the third time. It's the third time that I'm recording this because for some reason I'm not connecting the mic. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, let's just go through the events that happened once again. So this only happened in Bitfinex. Well, the first event happened in a lot of exchanges, and it was actually this price action, which was very weird, could probably be price manipulation. And one of the reasons is that it actually respected technical analysis in a sense, because we saw that it actually went back down to 6.1, and I mark over here that it actually created something similar to a double bottom, and it actually went back up to its target over here. But it was very off because, you know, the price actually moved for about 7% around here in a matter of an hour, and after seeing this breaking down, I was expecting the price to even go lower. So that was kind of the first thing that happened. But the second one, the most weird thing, was only on Bitfinex, and if you look at other exchanges, nothing presented this. They all kept within this range. And even if you are trading in BitMEX, you'll see that because you have three different indices, this never happened. But it did happen in Bitfinex, that we actually came from this 6.7k level all the way to 6.5, and again it kind of respected this technical analysis, breaking down and retesting these levels. But just the fact that the price is moving with these ranges and just going back down and back up suddenly, it doesn't really makes me feel good about Bitcoin, about the price. And the reason is because something that I've explained is we want adoption, but a lot of people don't want to adopt Bitcoin because of this volatility. And this is kind of like a vicious circle, because this leads for, you know, I've already talked about what the reason of this volatility is the low liquidity of the market. But because of this low liquidity, we have volatility, and because of this volatility, we don't really have a lot of people adopting Bitcoin, and because a lot of people are not adopting Bitcoin, we are not looking at stability in this kind of volatility. So it's a cycle, and potentially maybe all this news regarding emerging markets can actually change this, because we see that all these countries are actually starting to adopt more and more cryptocurrencies, and that might actually be what we need to actually break this cycle. Well, let's head to the technical analysis right now. And one of the things that I said is that daily EMA is a very important indicator, and actually over here we saw that the price actually broke through that level, and we saw a lot of volume in that. So I'm really bullish on Bitcoin for the short term right now because of this. And if you remember from last video, I talked about consolidation phases, and these consolidation areas are very important. And also something that we've seen during the price is that whenever we have this overbought stochastics, the price continues going up if it's after a consolidation phase. Let's take for instance over here, the stochastics went overbought, and in this consolidation phase around here, we actually saw the price moving up still. Then we had another consolidation area over here, and guess what, we had this overbought stochastics, they look at is if they were actually crossing down, but we saw this price moving up. And again, something similar could happen this time, because we have a very similar setup. We have a consolidation area over here, which I mentioned in the last video, ranging from 6.5 and 6.1. we actually broke up, and now the stochastics are overbought and looking as if they were gonna cross down. But because also we have this 20 EMA, one of the things that I would expect is the price to actually test this, which is already doing that, then going back up. And we have these two important bearish lines coming from the previous highs. And this is a very important area. And we also see, we can also see the Ichimoku cloud. There's a lot of resistance around this. So one of the things that I would be looking at, if it breaks this first line, the price might actually try to get to the second line. And if it breaks, this might be really, really bullish, because then the next target would be actually testing this previous high. And we've said before that we actually kind of achieving this higher low, meaning that maybe we're heading to a reversal. So this would be a very, very important point, because if we can at least achieve this high, that means that we're starting to reverse, because probably if the price fails and goes back down, we can actually achieve another higher low, and that could mean something very bullish. But again, if we actually break up, then that might initiate the start of a bull run, because we would have kind of officially done with this kind of a bearish momentum, with this bearish market. Well, now I want to quickly talk about BTC shorts, and the reason is because I've told you that whenever you see people doing the same thing, sometimes a good thing to do is be a contrarian and do the opposite. And we've seen that all these shorts are actually going down. And just as what I said in previous videos, when the price was actually going up all the way here, what I said, it's actually time to buy. You don't have to short, because you're looking at all these people shorting and selling. And what we saw is that the price actually went back down. And we saw that, that the price in Bitcoin went up when these shorts went down. And this was the point that I actually said, you know what, now it's the time to short. And I said in the previous video that when these shorts came back up, this was a very good signal, because that meant that shorts were actually coming back. And again, what we saw is that the price retraced from, I think it was 7.4 or something around it, and it went back down. And again, the shorts rised as well. So something that I'm looking at right now is pretty much the same. If we can continue to see the shorts going down around here, we know that people are gonna be saving their liquidity. They're gonna be closing their positions in order to avoid being completely liquidated. And this is very much related to what I established, well, what I just said in this particular zone. Because if we actually have a lot of shorts going down at this zone, I would actually look more into selling if this cannot actually break up this level. Because yeah, we all want this to be broken, we all want to a bull run to start, but we have to be objective. And if it does, and if the price is not really breaking these levels, then the best thing would be actually to short and maybe wait for another possibility down here. In any case, I want to end this video with two very, very important altcoins, and I want to talk about Ethereum and Ripple, because a lot of things have happened with them and they're following similar technical analysis, meaning that all the altcoins might be following this movement. So let's see what I was looking at. And one of the things that I actually shorted Ethereum, and I actually shorted Ripple, and I'm gonna explain you why I did that at these points in specific. So we saw that the price actually went all back up, and we encountered some resistance at this level. And if we look at Bitcoin at that price, we were around the 6.8k level, and this is something that we already know. And if you don't know, I'm gonna tell you that all these altcoins, they follow Bitcoin price. So whenever you see, for instance, Bitcoin having problems to go up, you will find similar resistance over here. So what I actually did was actually shorting all the way here, and I took profits very close to the 38% level. But now I'm looking at things in a more kind of bullish manner, and the last thing that I did was create, well, looking at this kind of pennant, and I actually wanted to short or have a pending order either to the downside or to the upside, and we actually go down, and that could have been a very good opportunity. I've told you before that sometimes you can trade in this way and just wait for the price, and you could have actually gotten from this level all the way to the 38% level again. That could have been a good trade, but well, anyways, I'm not gonna dwell on that missing trade because actually I'm looking at things rather more bullish right now, because if we just move this line around here, what we can find is that we could potentially be creating a bull flag. So if we compute that bull flag, maybe we can grab this pole or a little bit lower, but in any case, if this were to happen, we could be heading close to like 39 million satoshis, 38. Well, but the point is that we're actually heading up, and if we even grab this small pole as well, it could even be more. So I'm very bullish, and something that I'm waiting for this price action to do, which I'll explain more with Ripple, is that if we look over here, we saw this amazing surge, right? And it's very interesting, and something that I really want to say about Ripple is that sometimes I don't understand why people expect so much from a centralized platform. And I'm not gonna say that Ripple is bad, I'm not gonna say that it's useless. Of course it has its purpose, and it's an amazing altcoin in terms of what it's doing. But a lot of people, they trade and they buy it because a lot of the banks are actually using the technology. But this doesn't mean that the banks are actually buying Ripple. This doesn't mean that they're actually buying into the market. It just means that they're paying a company to actually use their technology and implement it in a fashion that they can use in order to increase the speed with transactions and so on. And I think a lot of people don't realize this, and they start FOMOing on Ripple. And we saw this if we actually look at more or less what the price did. It was more than 80%. I think it was almost 150%, depending on where you actually got the price. And that was actually amazing to see. But again, when I saw this price going up, if I miss the opportunity to actually buy in, guess what? I'm not gonna miss the opportunity to actually short the price. So I saw that there was this resistance around here, and then at this moment in time I actually shorted, and I shorted very heavily, and I got back quite a considerate amount because I sold close to the 50% retracement level, and I actually feel that it was a good trade. But now again, I'm looking at it at Ripple in a different way, because right now again it broke this triangle which I talked on Ethereum that it was forming, and you could have sold here and maybe profit in the 50% level. That could have been a good trade. But if you're looking for a swing trade, you could potentially say that Ripple is actually doing something similar to Ethereum, and it might potentially be creating kind of like this flag. And something that I would be looking forward in Ethereum and Ripple is that if we look, let's look at the other side, and why I shorted first. I don't want to forget about that, because we had a high over here in the RSI, then we have kind of a low over here, but the price was actually up, meaning there was a bearish divergence, and then the price continued going up, but it was at the same level. I mean, in the RSI, the same level at the previous high, but it was way off over here, meaning that there was more of a divergence. And then we saw in the RSI another low in here, but the price was actually just going up, and this was a very bearish indicator that we should actually short the price. And that's also why I went in, and well, the price actually retraced in a dramatic way. But anyway, now that we're looking at these things, this is merely a speculation, but it's something that would happen, and something that I encourage you to do is to find what you would like the price to go to, because those sniping points, let's say, are the best prices that you're gonna get. So for instance, right now we're looking at the RSI in Ripple. It's kind of cooling off, so something that I would like to see is the RSI to cool off and the price going a little bit up. But here, if the price actually comes back down and it breaks this flag and it goes through the 62% retracement, but with the RSI we go lower, but we don't exceed this previous lower low, I would actually look into buying not only Ripple but going into leverage into a long. And the reason is because this is enough bullish indicators, not only because of bullish divergence, but also because of the potential retracement at this level. Anyways guys, I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, and only if you did, mind subscribing, maybe also like the video. You know that you can also find me on my other social media. I got an Instagram account where I put all the highlights of my video, as well as some more posts on entrepreneurship. If you want to help the channel, you can also look at the links down below in the description. In any case, I would like to remind you before I go, stay smart, stay bold, but most important of all, stay cheeky. Take care.